This video is about installing a Traveller 4500 winch on a Polaris XP 900 Ranger. First thing you want to do is just take your front cover off. And I'm only doing it so I can have a little workbench area. I don't think you need to do anything inside that compartment. The second thing that you're going to want to do is inside. You'll see, I already removed them, but you'll see these little rivets. There's 4 of them. They just pop out the top. Get a little flathead screwdriver, pop the top out. You leave that other piece in there. There's 4, 1, 2, and then there's 1 on each side. Once you do that, you'll be able to just lift this right up. That rivet fell out, so we'll have to just be careful you don't lose them. That'll open up this wire run area where you can fish your wires back to your battery terminals and your starter solenoid. So what you want to do next is just lift your passenger seat up, pull this bin out, and this is where your battery is and where all your power connections will take place. You'll see there, that's the starter solenoid, and of course that's the battery. Next is you're going to need a 15 millimeter socket, and you're going to remove the front bumper. There's 4 bolts. There's 1 there, and there's 1 there, and then there's 2 on the other side. So I'm going to pause the video while I remove the front bumper. Alright, I have the front bumper off. Next step is to take off this little plastic thing that Polaris gives you. There's 2 torque screws. Just remove those. And I bought this KFI winch mounting kit because if you buy a winch that's not the Polaris winch, you need a mounting bracket to fit that goes from the winch to a Polaris. You know, to align the bolts correctly. So this is just the I ordered it from KFI. You can they manufacture these winch brackets for different models, so you can order the one that for your model. But I'm just going to replace that metal piece right now according to the instructions. All right, so I mounted the rollers for the winch cable onto the front bumper. Use the hardware that comes with your winch. You won't get that hardware with that mounting bracket, but it just goes, and you know, there's bolts. I can flip my phone around here. Yep, just nylon bolt. Just tighten it down real tight. Then you can tighten up your bumper guards, your grill. The next step is assembling the KFI mount bracket onto the winch. Now this Traveller's winch, it's the cable spools off the top, and the release is on the left. So that's how I'm going to install it. You just use the bolts that come with the winch, and you get a washer, a lock nut with the bolts. So I'll try to do this one-handed. Put it on, and then they're all just pre-threaded holes. Just screw it right in there. So I'm going to mount the last one, tighten them all up, and then we're going to mount the winch plate. I don't know how good you can see it, but there's 4 holes to bolt, one here and one here. These hardware for this comes with the from KFI with the winch plate, and the position will be right up here, threaded, and down here you'll use a hex bolt with a nut behind it to secure the winch mount plate to the frame, and then we'll put back the bumper. I'm going to pause it here and I'll assemble that pieces, and then we'll come back and start the wiring. All right, so we have the winch mounted to the mounting plate and mounted to the frame of the Polaris. So now the next step is to take your wiring harness here, take your coming off the controller, you're going to attach it to your positive and your negative here, and then we're going to run it back through the wire chase, here that we exposed earlier, and make the final connections to the battery and the terminals. But I'm definitely, doesn't look like I'm going to have enough wire to make that run. I may have to splice in something, but more to come on that when I get to that part of it. That's it. So hopefully we're going to install that. But before I install that, I forgot, I did buy a wireless remote control for the Traveller Winch. So this is the control box you could just throw in your glove box. But this piece here, the receiver, has to get mounted inside of this controller. So I'm going to do that now before I run the wire. This way I'll have enough room to work on it out here. Alright, so I started the wiring. This is the controller that comes with the Traveller winch, and on my Polaris, which is a 2014 Polaris Ranger XP 900, it has a winch contactor thing. It must be fitted for the Polaris one. This won't, the holes don't align, but I think I'm going to try to use it and just drill two holes to actually match my pattern. See if I can get away with it. And I'll just keep that up here. It'll be protected from the dirt and the dust, hopefully, and the water. So I ran the 2 leads that go to the winch. There's a hole right here already cut out. I'm just going to wire tie this on. Maybe I may just take them out and run them underneath this bracket, just underneath this bracket, just in case we need to remove this for some point in the future. I don't have to disconnect the winch. Well, maybe not. Maybe I will leave it on top. Yeah, whatever. I don't think it's going to matter. Of course, I'll leave them on top and then find out later I'll have to remove them for something. But that's just the way my luck is. Anyhow, you come underneath, you'll see 2 terminals here. There's a blue one and a yellow one. So yellow is positive and blue is negative. So you just take these screws off, attach there's 2 brass washers. Just put your connection right in between them, tighten these up, and then these little boots will fit right on top, but I didn't tighten them up yet. Then the next part is we have to fish. You know, this part goes actually to the starter solenoid. There is a post here, and I don't know if that is maybe goes to the starter solenoid or not. It'd be great if it did. I still have to figure out where the negative terminal would come in at, but this way I can make all my connections right up here, and I don't need to run this wiring back, you know, all the way back through here into the battery compartment to the starter solenoid, which is right here. So I'm going to think about it a little bit, and then I guess the next time I come back on the video, you'll see whatever I decided to do. All right, so I have the other wire run down through this other cutout, but I have to wire tie it up. But just I was expecting it happened. The two wires are short. They need to get hooked up to the solenoid, and I'm short about 12, 16 inches. So I'm going to have to splice on some extensions. I think I have some wire. I don't know what that is, 10 gauge or 12 gauge, but I think I have. I think I do have some in the garage. I'm gonna dig it out. I'm gonna wire it up, and then hopefully I'll be able to test it out. I'm going to try to test it before I put the bumper back on. Not that it matters. I mean, everything is done at this point up front. You could put the bumper back, but I'm just going to leave it off for now. All right, so I'm back here in the battery compartment. I'm going to extend the two wires from the winch control because it's too short. I'm just going to cut them up here and give myself more room, and then I'm going to splice in you know, a couple of feet. So I started making the connectors. It's 8 gauge wire if you need to get it. That's the size of the wire that's on the winch, and just grab some butt connectors. Ace Hardware has them for 8 gauge wire, and I got a couple pieces of heat shrink too. So once I make the connections, I'm just going to heat it up and shrink it down. This way it'll get it pretty watertight. So that's it. I'm just going to go back and, you know, cut out the section of wire and splice it in, and then make the connections. All right, so my wire and connections are all done. The black wire goes to the solenoid connection where these blue wires are going, which is the negative, and your red lead goes to where this red wire connects to the solenoid here. Just make sure you disconnect the battery before you make those two connections. So that part's all done, and the last thing I'm doing right now is I drilled out 2 of these holes where it says winch contactor, and these will fit. These, you know, will slide right in there. And I have some nuts and washers. We'll just tighten it down underneath, and this is the winch control here. So it'll stay pretty dry up here, and I'm going to assemble it all. I'm going to assemble it all back together, and then we'll test it out. All right, so forget screwing that thing into here and trying to get your hand underneath. Not going to happen. So I'm just going to get some Velcro right onto there. I'm just going to Velcro the bottom right on there. But let's give it a test right now. Probably can't do it while I'm trying to hold the camera, but we'll see how it works. So it looks like it's working good. That's it. So Traveller winch from Tractor Supply, 4,500 pound one. I think it was like $175. That plate, that mounting plate that we did, you know, when we took the bumper off, we mounted the winch to that mounting plate. That was about, I think, between $60 and $70 from KFI, I think the name of the place is. And that's it. And it took me a few hours. I took my time doing it. But the only last thing is to Velcro that thing on the back end of that engine compartment. All right, guys.